Franck, why a survey on charismatic species?
The charismatic species are supposedly the one that people like the most. They are the ones who are the most attractive, and they are supposedly the ones we know the most about. So I think even though we can all name a few of those charismatic species, I think it's difficult to know at the moment which one are the top 10 of these. I think it is very interesting to realize that although those species are the ones that we see the most in our cartoons, in our commercials, in our books, they are animal heroes. We know very little of their ecology, we know very little of how they function, the status of their populations. In fact, we know more about some other species that are less charismatic.
But why didn't you choose, for example, consulting audience data over TV channels like National Geographic or nature magazines or environmental association campaigns, and you choose a web survey?
In fact, I would like to avoid having a biased sample, so I'm asking people who are not especially connected with, for example, animal documentary, who are not especially animal lovers. So if I take a public sample, for example, from the internet, I will have some of them, but I will have them not more than in the global population. So the other advantage of the internet is that I can have a lot of participants during a very short period of time, because when one people participates to this study and enjoys it and thinks it's important, they will send it to many other friends who will in their turn send it again, so it can make a lot of participants.
But don't you think that considering just people that have a computer and are able to use internet could already create a bias?
Yes, that's true that there is a bias, although there are studies who show that more and more people have internet, including the seniors, the very young kids. So there is a bias, but it's a lesser bias. And also we complement these studies with other ways of doing surveys in schools. Sometimes we do surveys in zoos or this kind of other approaches to complement it.
How long the project will last?
So there are two phases with this project. The first phase is to collect data, so that's the survey phase. We don't exactly know how long it will take because we aim at several thousand people. Then there is another step, which will be to select each of the 10 favorite animal species and then study them, study the status of their population, see their characteristics, and see why those are preferred compared to other species, for example. One thing that I think would be really interesting to see is if there is a consensus, if everybody likes the same species, or if people reply personally different things to their neighbor, or if there is a difference between countries, if there is a difference between sexes or age.
Will people who took part in the survey be informed about the results or about where their contribution has led to?
So when the survey is done, we will need several months at least to analyze the results. But when it's finished, we will post on the very same web page all the results, and we will post also the articles that we will write from this analysis. So people will be informed. If they are willing to, if they are interested, they can go in a few months on this web page and they will find the results.
What would you like to say to people who visit your page?
First, participate. It's for science. It's interesting for us to know what you think, but it's also a good opportunity for you to say what you think. The other thing is that at the end of the web page, we put many pictures of very funny animal situations, and just for that, I think it's really worth doing the test.